Hey everybody, hold on, let me arrange you. So I was living in my favorite little corner a little while ago and my internet went out in my corner. So now I got put into my corner that I don't love as much, but that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. The show still must go on. Oh, by the way, hashtag still in Facebook jail. And that's all I'm really gonna discuss on that topic. Since I feel like I've beaten that to a dead beaten that like a dead horse. I'm still pissed. I'll be honest. My ego is still up about that one person can issue with it and me get put into Facebook jail. But again, I said I wasn't going to talk about it. So there I go talking about it. Okay. But I am in a really good mood today. I have some really exciting stuff going on. I'm doing a lot of I've got like all these ideas kind of like just swirling in my head, which always makes me a little bit squirrely. So you've been warned, not like I'm not squirrely on a daily basis. You guys, I don't like how my hair is. Hold on. God, let the hair free. Let the hair free. Freedom. Got my favorite boss mug, and we're ready to do some Addison Unleashed. But yeah, I have some exciting kind of ideas coming in the last few days. And I'm getting to kind of like give back a little bit today with something I have planned. That's actually, I really do love that kind of stuff when I get to give back to somebody that I care about. And so I'm getting to do something along those lines today, so that's exciting. But anyway, our topic, I actually changed the topic title. I should have gone with the original. I think I named this one Holding Yourself Back Via Your Relationships. But it really is a soul death, your own soul death because of your relationships, guys. And I have a slew of clients right now, couples and singles, that I'm noticing this pattern of the good enough relationship. Now, I have some people, like I actually had a client, been probably a couple weeks ago now, go, and then actually probably I had two go, Addison, is it okay if I just have a relationship that for right now I understand might not be through like amazing and through the roof perfect? Is it okay to just have to kind of like do some practice, like kind of get in there and try to pulling my own hair and not in a sexy way, and just kind of learn and explore? And I was like, I think that's perfectly okay. If you want to explore, now going in, you need to be really clear with the person that, I'm just not into a long-term relationship. I'm not looking for a big, intense love romance here. I'm really just kind of exploring. I'm building connection, that kind of thing. I think that is a perfect way to explain to somebody that, yes, you want to connect with them. Yes, you want to see how the relationship kind of pans out, but you're not really looking for the one right now, or and just being really honest about like, no, I'm not at a state of love with you or in love with you. I think we should always, if we're in a relationship with anybody, we should be in some form of coming from a loving place. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about those relationships where you're like, I'm just trying to get my feet wet again. I'm trying to learn how to connect. And in these relationships, you really are being incredibly authentic and honest with the person and going, I'm just trying to enjoy your company. I'm just trying to connect. This isn't a booty call. This isn't a, I'm not, that's not the relationship we're having, but I really am just not in a place of like committing right now. But that is not what we're talking about today. what we're talking about today is those people who find a relationship and they stick with the relationship. This isn't like a dating and you're just kind of like, okay, I'll go on a couple dates. Not sure that this is right. All right, fit, but I'm gonna just explore. I'm gonna see. I'm just gonna test the waters. It's not what we're talking about. We're talking about marriages. Yes, huge one, marriages and long-term dating relationships. And when I'm talking long-term dating relationships, I'm talking probably 6 months or longer. And I know that that's not like long-term, but for this context, that's kind of what I'm discussing more of. Sorry, my sports bra is creeping up. But what I'm talking about here is that good enough relationship, the relationship you stay in because you're like, I get this and this and this and this. I'm comfortable. Why do I need to shake my own boat? Why, I'm comfortable. Like, he or she makes me laugh. We have good sex. Like, it's not horrible. Maybe I'm not as orgasmic as I would like in our sexing. Maybe I'm not as trusting. Maybe I'm not as open, but, and maybe, I'm not really getting all my needs met, but it's okay. It's like it's okay sex, it's an okay relationship. Or she does this and I really can't hang with that, but it's okay. Let's not rock the boat. Let's not push. And I see this all the time, particularly, yes, married people, I'm hitting on you particularly here. People who have outgrown each other, really have outgrown each other. And they are kind of in disgust of each other. It's not even like you're just in one of those kind of turbulent times. Hold on, coffee. But really you're in disgust of each other. You do not see it working long-term. However, you're hanging in there just to hang in there. You're hanging in because you're too lazy to do the work and you don't want to be alone. And that's one of the key factors. It's like, it's good enough. I don't want to be alone. It's better than nothing. Some sex is better than nothing. A relationship is better than no relationship. To love is better than to have never loved. Like, all this stuff. And it's not true, because what happens is you're killing yourself. You're killing your own soul. Yes, you're killing your own soul by staying in these good enough relationships. And that's not to say every single one of your relationships needs to be perfect, because FYI, there's no such thing as a perfect relationship. But if you feel like you have just become like really good roommates with your in your marriage, and you're saying just because of the kids and just because it's financially stable and he's all right or she's all right, that's not a healthy relationship. That's actually going to be holding you back, because when we hold back, I'm sorry, I'm talking with my hands today. Put my hands down. Now I'm not comfortable. When we start to really go into scarcity in one area of our life, we end up pulling scarcity into all areas of our life. So if you think, well, good enough, this good enough relationship is okay, what you're missing is that you're not going to be pulling in those people who really could have been making you happy. You're not going to be opening yourself up to a new relationship that really could be fulfilling and could be soul aligned for you, because you're so stuck on being comfortable and getting these momentary kind of highs. And I see that a lot. Like, so I'm thinking of a client in particular right now that's like, yeah, but like, we have really good sex every once in a while. Every once in a while, we have really good sex. So it's almost like he is staying for that hit. He's staying for that hit. But the rest of the time, he's incredibly unhappy. But he's staying for this hit. And if that is why you're staying in your relationship, just for that kind of hit every now and then you're wasting your life, because you could be having this deep, really connective relationship with somebody else and allowing that other person to also go on and have a deep connective relationship. Instead, we end up limiting ourselves. And I'll see this with people all the time. They'll be like, well, why isn't my finances going the way I want it? Why isn't my career expanding the way I desire it to? Why is this happening or that not happening? And all of this stuff they're manifesting, they do. They really believe it. They have the belief system. They're doing the work. They're putting out beautiful energy, and really can look at their relationships and go, the issue is right here. You're settling for good enough here. And when we settle for good enough, that will permeate our entire lives. And I think there is this fear of being lonely, and we hear this all the time. It actually sometimes upsets me, because it's like, you hear it about single people. Oh, well, like that person just doesn't want to be alone. They need to learn to just be with themselves and all this. And it's true. It's true. I'm a single woman, and you have to learn to be with self, because the truth is, even if you're in a marriage, even if you're in a deep committed relationship that you love, at the end of the day, we're all just with ourselves. Now, there is this coming together and this beautiful energy that can happen in a relationship, because our relationships really can move us forward. But coffee first. But if, and this goes for somebody who's single, but really it does go for people who are in these relationships that are just staying in the relationship to not be lonely. What's happening is you're just not willing to be, you don't want to be lonely. Mm-hmm. And you think that means that it's good enough. Like, this relationship is good enough, because then I don't have to feel that. And then I will move on, or when things get better, I'll look at that, or we'll talk about that when this happens or that happens, and kind of putting these stipulations on, well, we'll deal with that later. Today, I don't want to be lonely. Today, I want sex. Today, I want fulfillment. Today, I don't want to rock the boat. And that ends up becoming our lives. And this is how, I can't tell you how many couples I deal with that are saying, I've known really for the past 10 years that we're not connecting at that level. Yes, I might love her. Yes, I might love him. But there's a difference between loving someone and being in love with somebody. There's so many people. I love my clients. I love my friends. I love my family, but I'm not in love with any of those people. There's a different energy of a romantic love. But to just stay in that relationship because you're like, oh, like I love them. Okay, if you're going to do that, that's okay. I'm not saying you need to break all your relationships up, but get out of the this is good enough mindset. Either work, and this is another issue, do the freaking work to make it better, make it that amazing, like, I'm stealing another coach's line, but like, fuck yes kind of relationship. But, or dump it. That's not to say don't do the work. We're all going to have, in our relationships, there's times when we have to do work. And there's times of just like, things are shaky or just not right. But after like 6 months, a year, 2 years, you're like, ugh, like this just isn't going well. And they have all these things that I didn't see before that I really do not like, that I really can't hang with. that's when we need to start doing some cutting off or transitioning of the relationship. And that could mean going, okay, like we just need to transition more to friends right now. That could also mean we need to transition to, maybe an open relationship. There's tons of options, but it's not really about the relationship. It's about your thought process of, this is good enough. This is good enough for now. I don't want to be alone. I would rather just have a relationship than have no relationship. And that's not the case. You don't get to, you can choose that. You can choose that. That's an option. But and I'm gonna be really blunt and direct here. Like, when a relationship is not meant for you. When it is just not working. But you are you're too scared to jump out of it. You're too scared to do the freaking hard work to make the transition or have the hard conversations. Because a lot of times these relationships die. They become soul death relationships because you're not willing to do the hard work. You're not willing to have the conversation. You're not willing to go, I need boundaries here. Or here's what I'm needing, and you're not providing it to me. And here's what I see is going wrong. And both parties kind of staying in their ego. I'll see relationships all the time that are like 20 years down the road, and they're like, really? Like, we've never talked about that. And I'm like, if this issue has been going on for 10 years and you haven't talked about it, then how are you going to fix it? How are you going to make progress? How are you going to move forward? So yeah, and I do feel like I'm going a little bit off topic now, but I feel like I see all these relationships that it's like, well, it's good enough. It's good enough. And when we have that good enough, what's going to end up happening is your money's going to be good enough, and your career is going to be good enough, and everything else is going to become this good enough, and you're going to wonder why you're not receiving things. And it's going to be because you bought into this good enough kind of mindset. And our relationships are a huge factor in where our mindset is. So that's kind of my rant for today. My little soapbox is to look at your relationships. No, I don't want everyone going like right now we're doing, like, I'm having this issue in this relationship. And this actually goes even outside of romantic relationships, but we're focusing in on romantic relationships. This could be family relationships, friendships. This goes into lots of different areas. But to really look at your relationships and go, like, is this just good enough, or are we just kind of going through, like, are we going through some stuff? Do we just need to work on it? And you know internally. But when you think of that person, if you go, then I can promise you there is some humongous issues that need to be dealt with. If your first reaction to somebody is, or you leave that, like, if you go, say you are dating a girl and you go out with your buddies and the first thing you do is start complaining about her, then that is a huge sign. That is a huge sign. If you're in a marriage and you're a woman, you're in a marriage out with your friends and you start talking smack about your husband, that's an issue. That's an issue. If that is first of all, like, do we need to be talking smack about people? But that's an issue. If that is a constant thing, then you have to look at, like, am I really happy in this relationship? If I feel like I have to constantly be complaining about this person that is supposed to be somebody who's so incredibly close to me and adding to my life, if you are consistently feeling they're pulling from your life, then that's an issue. That's an issue. So you either have to look at your ego and go, okay, is this true? Is this true? Is this them doing this? Or is this, which it's always you, because it's your boundaries, you get to control your life. But is this their actions that are contributing, or is this me not holding my ground, holding my boundaries, speaking my truth, being authentic? And when you're dating, when you're dating and any long-term relationship, look at it and go, does this relationship truly does this person, not just the relationship, not being able to go, oh, I'm in a relationship, because there's lots of people that do that. Sorry, I'm uncomfortable because my other corner is more comfortable, the corner that I was supposed to be living from today. But to really look at it and go, like, does this does this relationship really fill me up? And I don't actually like that phrasing, because we fill ourselves up. But I mean, like, does it bring you joy? Does it, when you're with that person, are you excited? Are you just fully there and not like checking your phone? That is a sign of a really good relationship, a relationship that there is desire to continue and desire to grow with and expand with. However, if you are like, when you think of that relationship, or you're just staying in that relationship because you don't want to be alone, and that's going to be you getting really clear with self, because I think a lot of us go, oh no, that's not the case. I'm alone. I don't mind being alone. Look at your life. Do you really not mind being alone? Are you filling every gap that you do have with somebody, something? Are you allowing other people to fill your life with things? So look at that and look at, like, is this just me staying in this relationship so I have something? So I have something. And if that's the case, then you really might need to do some just deep journaling and deep work on letting that go, or where you might need to make some transitions in things. So yeah, I warned you I was a little squirrely today, but anyway, that is all I've got today. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Like I said, kind of squirrely, kind of all over the place, but if you want more of me, then follow my YouTube channel now, because I'm not live streaming on Facebook at the moment. So follow my YouTube channel. And then also, if you're in the Plano area this Saturday, I'm doing a workshop with the amazing Kendall Williams. So come check that out. Great, seeing the other side, an experiential journey into your sex. We're going to really jump in there, and we're going to experience our sex like we've never experienced it, because our sex truly, truly does mirror our entire lives. And so you're going to get to learn a lot about yourself. There's going to be laughing, there's going to be joking, but there's also going to be some really good deep work that's going to transform how you see your life in general. So I'm really excited about that. My Fierce Female Friendships course is going live on Wednesday, so check that out. That's tomorrow. Yep, that's tomorrow. So check that out. Sign up if you have not signed up. Other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow for another Addison Unleashed. As always, I'm sending you guys lots of love, light, and tons of blessings. Bye, everybody.